Hey guys, so today I would like to show you something that I got a few days ago, and I haven't made a video for a while, so I thought I would show it off. I got this box set, and it is a Bob Dylan box set. It is the Complete Album Collection, Volume 1. And for those of you who are not aware, I am a huge Bob Dylan fan. I would go as far as saying that I am pretty obsessed with Bob Dylan, and I have been for quite some time, since probably 2008. I started really getting into his music, and I've seen him in concert 4 times, and I have been front row every time. So I think I'm a little bit crazy when it comes to Bob Dylan, but there's good reason for that. He is really an amazing songwriter and makes some of the most beautiful music that I've ever heard. And I actually did stop listening for a while because I was just listening to him constantly. So I took a little break, and he just came out with a new album called Another Self-Portrait, which is a bootleg series, and it has a lot of unreleased or alternative tracks on it. So I started listening to that, and it just completely restarted my obsession with him. As you can see, I'm pretty upset with Amazon because this is damaged in the corner, and I really wanted something that was mint, especially for the price, and it came ripped, but I didn't even notice that until I had already taken it out of the saran wrap, so I don't think I can really return it. So I guess I'm just going to keep it unless they say they'll replace it. So I thought I would just show you guys this box set. I already own most of Bob Dylan's albums on CD and LP, so I bought this mainly as a collector's item, and it came with a CD or 2 CDs full of unreleased tracks and a book. So I thought I would just show you guys a couple of the albums and the book and just talk about it a little bit. I know if you're friends with me on Facebook, you've probably seen that I've only been listening to Bob Dylan, and I tend to do that when I get into obsession mode. I will listen to only one artist over and over again. So this is a pretty cool box set if you have any Bob Dylan fans or just music fans in general, because it comes with all of his albums, his studio albums, I should say, because the bootleg series that he has released over the years is not included in this. It has 35 studio albums and 6 live albums. My favorite live album is not included in this though, because it was on the bootleg series. I really love the Rolling Thunder Revue concert, and that is a bootleg series disc. But it does include Hard Rain, which is another concert in the same time period, so that's good. But I really love the bootleg series version a lot more. So I'm just going to show you a few of the albums. They're all in order. Here is the original Bob Dylan first album he ever recorded. And there's a lot of, it's basically like a reproduction of the LP sleeve that it used to come with. And what's really interesting about Bob Dylan is his voice has changed many times throughout his career. And he started out doing folk music, acoustic folk music, and he became really well known for that. And if you guys are into his music and his backstory, you know that he got in a lot of bad feedback when he decided to go electric at the Newport Film Festival, or not music festival, not film festival. Here's the Freewheeling Bob Dylan, which is a great album. It has probably some of his most well-known songs on it, like Blowing in the Wind. And his music is really good for me for relaxation, especially his folk music, because he has a very comforting voice. At least I think so. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I think that they are more referring to his later stage, maybe around Blonde on Blonde, when he completely changed the way he sang. But I actually really enjoy that voice as well. I like all of the different voices he's had, just some better than others. But this is actually a really iconic album cover. It's Dylan and Susie Rotolo, who just recently passed away of lung cancer. And yeah, that's one of his more well-known album covers. Now here's another good folk album. The times they are changing. has a lot of great songs on it. And it's really nice, like, it's really cool if you listen to Bob Dylan from the start, because you see this really strange evolution of genres and style, and the way he changes his voice. He started out sounding like a basically like an old folk singer. He tried hard to emulate the folk sound, and he had a very grizzled old voice, and it slowly starts to evolve into a much younger and I guess rock voice. I don't even know how to classify his voice, because he changes it so much. This album has one of my favorite songs on it. It Ain't Me, Babe. That's a great song. Bob Dylan is, like, honestly the only artist who can really move me with lyrics and with just the way he sings. And it doesn't ever fade. Every time I hear that song, I get really hardcore goosebumps, and that goes for a lot of his stuff, actually, especially on Blonde on Blonde and Blood on the Tracks, which is a much later album, which had a much deeper meaning. So, here is where Dylan went electric. And this is an iconic album cover as well, because everybody at this point was trying to analyze Dylan and overanalyze him to the point where they were really annoying him and getting meanings out of songs that, you know, were just out of overanalyzing it. So he made this cover, and there's just so much going on in it. You know, even the lens is cluttered with things, so if you try to overanalyze it, it would probably blow your mind. So it's just filled with things. And this is when he went electric and has Subterranean Homesick Blues on it, which is one of his most well-known songs. And his voice is definitely changed in this album. There's a picture of Bob and Joan Baez. Highway 61 Revisited. Now this one has the song everybody knows, which is Like a Rolling Stone. And it has a lot of great songs, including Desolation Row, which is one of my favorite songs. It's definitely more on the rock side. And I really really love it. I really love most of Dylan's work. I don't like saying most of it, but some more than others, and his early work was really amazing and got him known as a legend, which he subsequently hated. So he started making albums that weren't as amazing as his older ones to lose the stigma of being a prophet or something like that. And here is Dylan's, probably his most iconic album, Blonde on Blonde. And this one actually folds out. You can't see it folded into like a poster because there are 2 discs. And this is the album that most people make fun of Dylan's voice from because he completely changed it. He started making it way more, I like to call it like a flowy sounding voice, more formless, but still very beautiful, I think. His voice is one of the only voices that can trigger my ASMR and also move me because of just the way it sounds. And he only really did it for one album. He never really sounded like this again, but still everybody seems to make fun of him for that. I'm not going to go through all of his albums, but just a few. Now, after Blonde on Blonde, he took a little break from making music because he was really fed up with being called Judas for going electric, and just, I think the whole rock and roll lifestyle got to him. He had a motorcycle accident which nearly killed him, so I think he decided at that point that he just wanted to change and be more of a family man. So he released John Wesley Harding, which is very different than Blonde on Blonde, but I still really like it. It has All Along the Watchtower on it, and one of my favorite songs, Frankie Lee and Judas Priest. The Ballad of Frankie Lee and Judas Priest. And I'll Be Your Baby Tonight, which is a well-known song. And I kind of wanted to make this video also because a lot of people probably don't realize, at least younger people, that Bob Dylan could sing. Everybody seems to make fun of him for not being able to sing, but he has had so many different voices, and this is a testament to that. Nashville Skyline. He changed his voice again completely for this album. He attributed it to quitting smoking, but I think he did it completely on purpose. And I think I read in an interview once that he made this album and probably a few others on purpose because he wanted to really lose that prophet name that he had been given in the 60s. So this is a much more country album. It has Lay Lady Lay on it, of great songs. I really love this album too, but you know, it's a really big step away from Blonde on Blonde and his earlier work. But to be honest, he does that a lot. He tends to completely change, and that's a great aspect, I think, of his work. The next album is Self-Portrait, and this album was just re-released, or not re-released. He released tracks that were not included in this time on a new bootleg series called Another Self-Portrait, and he drew this, or he painted this self-portrait of himself. If you don't know Bob Dylan, he has a lot of artwork out there as well. And this, if you can see, it's a total change from how he was perceived in the past. He's living out on a farm here. And it's a great album. A lot of covers on this. But really great, I think. And I really actually love Another Self-Portrait's versions of some of the songs better because they are not overdubbed. They're just clean and, I guess, raw. And I like that a lot better. The next album, New Morning. And if some of you guys are like huge Bob Dylan fans and I'm getting things wrong, I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember as much as I can, but I'm not like a hardcore studier of Bob Dylan. I tend to just really appreciate the music, but since he does fascinate me, I have looked into a little bit of his backstory. And this is still in the period of time where he was just kind of low-key and not living in the rock and roll lifestyle. Sorry if I'm going a little slow, I get a little mixed up every once in a while. Here's the next album. This is for the movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, which Bob actually is in. It's a good movie. I own it. And it's a western, of course. And this is the album that Knocking on Heaven's Door came from, which is an amazing song. Here's just the self-titled Dylan, which has some covers on it. And if you guys are wondering what the actual CDs look like, they look like Columbia. I still am collecting his LPs. I have probably about half, but I have been somewhat slacking off on his religious music that he made. And, you know, I still want to get it anyway. I was just not. I was saving that for last, I guess, to get. The next album is Planet Waves. I do think it's really cool how these really are like mini album covers almost. They really give you the feel of owning the records. Here is a live album. Bob Dylan and the band Before the Flood. If you guys are a fan of the band, they were originally Bob Dylan's band, and they formed their own little group and made some great music. Levon Helm just recently passed away not too long ago. This is a great album though, I like it. I really love his live stuff because he always changes the way he plays the music. It's like you'll never hear the same song played the same way twice. And let's see. Oops. Here is another one of his most iconic albums, Blood on the Tracks, which is a very powerful record. Came out of a bad breakup, or divorce actually, and the songs really reflect what he was going through at the time. Some really powerful lyrics, and one of his best albums, in my opinion. It has Tangled Up in Blue and Idiot Wind, Shelter from the Storm, and a lot of other just great songs that I can listen to a lot. Here is the Basement Tapes, Bob Dylan and the band. It was like, just some music they wrote and sang, but never released, I think. Pretty cool. Pretty cool picture. A lot of things going on. I know you can't see it very well because it's not auto-focusing, but let's see. another one of my favorite albums, which is Desire. And it has one of the most powerful songs, I think, that will forever make me get goosebumps and get emotional over, which is a song called Sarah. And it's actually a song that he wrote about his wife at the time, who they were having a lot of troubles, as seen on Blood in the Tracks. And he sings that song with such power that even thinking about it, I get the chills. It's just insane. This is around the time he did the Rolling Thunder Revue, which is, he would cover his face in white paint because he wanted to mask himself, and he would go on stage and do these really powerful rock renditions of his music. And that's probably my favorite concert era of his. And if I could have a time machine, I would go back and see that concert. But yeah, this is a great album, I think. So, and here is Hard Rain, which is the live album I was talking about. It was around that same time as the Rolling Thunder Revue. I think it was the Rolling Thunder Revue. I'm not like too up on that. I don't know. So don't crucify me for not knowing if it was the same tour or not. But he wasn't doing the masking that he was. So it's a great album. I think I'm gonna end the albums there. But you get a lot more after. And I mean a lot more. That's not even half of the albums he's made. But yeah, if you guys have any friends or family who are Bob Dylan fans, I would tell you to maybe think about getting this for Christmas or something. It's a great little collector's item. Just hopefully you won't get one with a ripped box. Here is the book that it came with. It's a little book, but it's very thick. And it has a lot of rare pictures in it and liner notes. I'm just going to show you a few if I can get some. Goes through his entire career, basically, all the way through now. So here's where, around Nashville skyline, he looks completely different. He's always done that. He's like reinvented himself. Here's Hard Rain, so it must have been during Rolling Thunder. But yeah, I'm like a gigantic fan of his, and so I saw this and immediately bought it. if you guys have never listened to Bob Dylan, I would suggest you start. And if you guys hate Bob Dylan without listening, I think that's pretty silly, because he is many people. There was a movie out about him called I'm Not There. It was based on a true story, but it basically shows the many people that he was. He was a mix of many things. And nobody really truly knows who he really is. And he's like one of the most well-known people. And there's a train, but he's one of the most well-known people, and yet so very few people actually know the true person. So the train is coming, so I'm going to end it here. Check this box set out, and I hope you guys have a good night. Bye.